Flickr Alley has been around for a long time, but they're never really a Blu-ray company that I got into because I would look at the prices of their releases and go, oh my god, that is so expensive. And what I'm going to be talking about today still falls in those categories, but they're really interesting movies. And when I heard somebody talk about it, I went, okay, I'm going to have to check it out, even though Canadian dollars wise, it's over 50. They recently put out two Argentinian noirs. Now, I love it when someone tells me about a genre film from a country that you usually don't hear about. So this usually means as well that these are things that have been kind of forgotten or fell completely through the cracks. So they put two of them out, The Beast Must Die and The Bitter Stems. And these are both great. The Beast Must Die is a little bit more of a drama. It's one of those films where you see media res, the beginning of the movie, someone dies, and there's all these witnesses, and I kept going, oh boy, don't have a flashback, don't have a flashback, 20 minutes on, please don't have a flashback, but then boom, the flashback hits, and the entirety of the movie is a flashback. So if I knew that, maybe I would have enjoyed myself a little bit more, because as opposed to the usual noir conceits and tropes, this one is more about the drama of a man who loses someone very close to him and the lengths that he goes to take revenge or just get close to hurt the people that caused him the pain as well. And then you have The Bitter Stems. And The Bitter Stems is like Edgar G. Ulmer-ish noir gold. You get like hallucinatory dream sequences. It's about emasculation. The plot of this one has a news reporter who didn't go to war for reasons that they discuss in the movie, and he suddenly starts a deal or a scam with somebody that he meets at a bar. Of course, things get out of control. There is a dead body that ends up, and it just builds to this amazing climax that just completely nails it. I mean, The Bitter Stems is the one that really blew my socks off, while The Beast Must Die, even though it has the title of that werewolf movie, that at the end they're like, have you figured out who the werewolf is? That is not this movie. It is completely different. More of a drama. This one, pure Ulmer-ish noir gold. Both of these releases from Flickr Alley have been treated with so much love. They've been available for a while on places like YouTube in really awful transfers that does a disservice to films like The Bitter Stems. And they went back to the nitrate negative that a collector found. Argentinian film archivist Fernando Martin Pina, he went to such great lengths to get this movie out on Blu-ray and out to a new audience. And I'm so glad that I could discover it on this amazing Flickr Alley disc. And so many people came together to put this out, including Film Noir Foundation, UCLA Film and Television Archives, and they made this a big special edition. You get a great souvenir booklet with an excellent essay and art that is actually fun to see, not just stills from the movie. You get a profile on the composer, you get a commentary track by historian Imogen Sarah Smith, a new conversation with the film archivist that I mentioned, and it also includes an introduction by Eddie Muller, who I actually heard him talk about this movie on the Leonard Maltin podcast, and he was saying how much audiences that he was showing it to were really impressed, and that made me want to go check both of these out. You also have, from Flickr Alley, something that is so close to my heart that when I heard that it was coming out, I recognized none of the movies on this set, but I had to get it, because it is In the Shadow of Hollywood. Okay, what does that mean? Is it like a documentary of some sort? Highlights from Poverty Row. Oh man, this is a must-buy for me. Special edition dedicated to Poverty Row films. If you know me, you may have seen some stuff I've done a Gold Ninja video or listened to me talk about it on the Important Cinema Club. Poverty Row films never get that much respect because they are widely available on YouTube and all sorts of places like that. So you usually get doopy, terrible looking transfers and they're just thrown on a disc like Bela Lugosi's Top 10 Shocks or something like that. Not the case here. These are beautiful looking transfers of a bunch of Poverty Row films that you may not have actually ever heard of. You get Midnight, Backpage, Woman in the Dark, and The Crime of Dr. Crespi. Now, the reason you haven't heard about most of these is that they were made by basically fly-by-night studios who existed to only make one or two films, and then they completely disappeared off the face of the planet because they couldn't keep making productions due to box office receipts. This is explained in an excellent booklet that is included on this set. So this is a 2-disc Blu-ray set. I believe it's around the same price as the single ones. And again, the films are great. A lot of them have some interesting stuff in them, but that's what you get when you check out Poverty Row films. But what really caught my interest in this is that there's commentary on each movie. Now, that is going above and beyond, because usually when you do these kind of sets, you're like, yeah, one of them will get it, and you know that'll be like the really good one. But every film has a different commentator on it. Now, I listened to the one on The Crime of Dr. Crespi by film historian and scholar Jean-Christopher Horak, and it was excellent. He also wrote the booklet in this book, so he knows his stuff, doesn't stop talking, and it was just a delight. Especially that The Crime of Dr. Crespi is directed by John H. Auer, a Poverty Row director who actually doesn't have that much of a cult around him. The Crimes of Dr. Crespi, I believe, was his first English language film, but he's got an amazing visual style that is very reminiscent of somebody like Joe H. Lewis, especially the way that he moves the camera in this one. It's got that great Poverty Row feel of there's silence all the time during the scenes, like as if they didn't have enough money to lay down music tracks. So there's almost like an artificial or even real life feel. I know those are two completely different things, but you just got to see it to understand it. And the way he moves the camera, he puts his camera behind all of these like bubbling cauldrons and stuff like that. You also have Woman in the Dark, which is directed by Phil Rosen and stars Fay Wray. And Phil Rosen is somebody you would know if you're a Poverty Row fan. He did a bunch of Bowery Boys films. He did some interesting stuff along the way. Not like a cult Poverty Row director, like someone like William H. Bodine, but he definitely has his fans, and I'm glad to see one of his movies, probably the best it's ever looked, on this Blu-ray set. So I started this video by saying that Flickr Alley is something I never discovered, and now I'm ending it with going, I'm probably gonna have to buy all the Flickr Alley releases that come out, especially if they are this good and this much attention is paid to them. Flickr Alley is a weird company, is that like, they don't seem very present in social media. Like, I had no idea In the Shadow of Hollywood was coming out, other than I was looking at the Bay Street Video release list, which you can hear us talk about on the Bay Street Video podcast every week. And I saw In the Shadow of Hollywood. I'm like, what is this? And then when I saw highlights from Poverty Row, I was like, whoa, I gotta check this out. So again, big high recommendation for these films. They deserve more fans. They are priced for the collector's market. But listen, if you're watching this, you are definitely a collector, and there is something in here that would probably be of interest to you. If you enjoyed this video, check me out every week at the Important Cinema Club podcast. You can find the link below. Thanks for watching.